Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video and welcome to the very cold, very quiet banks of the River Tyne. Yes, that's right, I am back from my whirlwind journey around Asia. I hope you guys enjoyed the videos. As I say, I was posting plenty on here, Instagram, Patreon, but it's good to be back in Newcastle. As I say, it's always nice to be home, despite the fact that it is bitterly cold, especially when you've just come from 40-degree heat. But it is nice to be back. It was nice to be back at St James's Park on Monday night. I literally got off the flight, went to St James's, watched us lose, and then went back to bed and slept for about 24 hours after quite a long journey, jet lag and everything else. But I thought, you know what, little walk. Little bit of peace, little bit of quiet, lovely background with the sun setting at, just before 3 o'clock. Talk about Newcastle, talk about Callum Wilson. As I say, the game was poor on Monday night. It was frustrating. It was Eddie Howe. It was the tactics. It was the players. I think there's been a lot of talk since Monday, and it's been Newcastle for a long time, hasn't it? It's not new to see us beat Arsenal, beat Chelsea, beat Nottingham Forest in an away game after being 1-0 down, to play on a Monday night at St James's Park under the lights, haven't lost a game at home on a Monday night in 15 years or more, and then get battered, by a West Ham team who really didn't do a lot. We just didn't do anything back. So, yeah, obviously there's a lot of talk about that. How do we get Tonali in the side? Why Eddie Howe's changes were slow, and the changes he made, the players who came on didn't make us any better. It was a real mess, a real painful, frustrating watch. But yes, trying to see through into what we'll see against Palace this weekend. I think Eddie Howe takes blame, but I also think the players do. 2-0 down, lethargically passing the ball around on the edge of their box was just not good enough. But anyway, what we're here to talk about is Callum Wilson, because regardless of how you look at it, one positive that came out of it was Callum Wilson returned to the pitch. Now, whether you think it's a positive because you're happy to see him back and hopefully scoring some goals for Newcastle United, or if you're not a fan of Wilson, you probably still see it as a positive in the hope that maybe we can move him on this January window. Now, Callum Wilson's contract, is one that has been discussed continuously, his issues with injury. And look, for the club, for the player, for everything, it was a good thing that he was back. I don't really see... I think Callum Wilson's a good guy. I think he just has a lot of injury troubles. But regardless, his contract does end at the end of this season. And there's question marks of what to happen next. I think, generally speaking, it's quite probably thought of most fans that this will be Wilson's last season and then he'll probably go at the end of it. But now that he is back on the pitch and now that he is fit, the obvious questions start to come out. And that's what's happened since Monday night. What happens next with Callum Wilson? Eddie Howe was asked about Wilson. Eddie Howe gets asked about Wilson every week, and I think he's probably sick of it because every time he answers the question, it's pretty much, what's next for Callum Wilson? Is he fit? Is he going to be back again? And Eddie Howe was almost like a sigh of relief this time round to be like, yes, actually, he might be available. And the question came around of what's happening with Wilson. Will he get a new deal? And to my disbelief, Eddie Howe kind of answered it, and yeah, maybe. What's he gonna say? No, get him out now. He's gonna say, well, there's an opportunity there. It's something that we're gonna consider. But, it is somewhat worrying when Eddie Howe is going down that road again with Callum Wilson. When I think a lot of us are, yeah, we'll come on to what I think in a minute. But I think it is probably time. The question is what does happen next? If there's an opportunity to sell him this January window, I think if there's an opportunity to sell Callum Wilson this January, we take it. I think he's going to be 33. I think coming into the new year, And if there's and you know, we're getting linked to players. You know, I think this is a big January for us. I think it's a big January for Paul Mitchell, having, you know, really failed in the summer. Is that? Yeah, I think it's hard. I think the club failed. I'm not going to put it all on Paul Mitchell, but really, he was thrust in at the late hour and couldn't get anything done. You know, we've already seen him do the talk at the Stack with some of the other Newcastle board members where he said it himself that he felt like he was brought in at a tough time and wasn't really able to take advantage of the situation and get something over the line. So I think there will be a hell of a lot, and that's the thing. I want there to be something. I'll argue. I would argue that the Monday night we had £185 million worth of players on the bench. We had a 50 million Tonali. Almiron was in there. You know, Barnes at 35 million. You know, it weren't perfect, but I would argue that we possibly had the best bench we've had in quite some time. And we still had a lot of the good players who didn't turn up on Monday night. So I'm not going to say that January's going to fix things. You know, well, you could argue that if we had a right winger, then it would be Gordon on the left and Joey back in the middle. So, yeah, I think the January window will have a lot of eyes on it. Will that solve all of the world's problems in Newcastle world? Probably not. But will it be a big factor? Yes. I think more than anything, the eyes are on this January because we didn't deliver in the summer and Newcastle need to go and do something about it. The idea that Newcastle have no money to spend this January, I think, is bordering on laughable. Having knowledge that Newcastle tried to buy Mark Gahey for 70 million and tried to put a last-minute bid in for, who was it? Someone, was it the Chelsea winger for 50 million or someone? And now Eddie Howe saying we've got no money. So I think that's Eddie Howe and Newcastle probably being careful with what they say again, because we don't want to be given the Newcastle tax, the Saudi tax, PIF tax, you know, richest owners in the world tax. You know, Newcastle aren't going to be like, oh yeah, you know all that money we didn't spend, we're going to slam it this January. They're going to go, oh well, the way the books have balanced, we don't quite have it anymore. I don't think that's true. I think we've got the money. I think we've got the spends. We saw Newcastle sell a share to themselves for 35 million. We do that every year. That's the 35 million Newcastle are, as I understand it, are able to basically put into the club extra on top of what we already make. So there's money there. But having said that, if we are going to spend, taking the chance to maybe make a bit of money off Callum Wilson's probably not a bad one either. I think Callum Wilson's worth to us in the world of PSR and FFP, God, there's so many acronyms I can't keep up, and there's a giant puddle in the path here, so we're going to walk along the wall for a bit. Whatever we're selling for, even if it's 5 million, I think it'll times by 5 over the 5-year journey. So if we've got 5 million for Callum Wilson, you know, I think, you know, on his days could be worth way more. You know, but he'll be worth nothing into the summer. So if we did get 5 million, that's 25 million we can go and spend this January window. So yeah, there are options there. What I'd like to happen is for Callum Wilson to come back fit and start scoring some goals straight away. You know, he's actually said, he's put a bit of a plea out there. He's kind of said, you know, I love playing for this football club. I want to continue playing for this football club. I think he's probably hedging his bets that if he wants to continue Premier League football, a 1-year extension at Newcastle is probably one of the best shots he's got. I think Eddie Howe probably still likes him, regardless of the injury issues. There's going to be so many questions for Eddie Howe to answer if we give him another deal and he gets injured again. But if he starts scoring goals, I do genuinely think that it gives Newcastle a question. I think for me, if there's an opportunity to sell him this January, I think we should jump on it with both hands, because we're not going to have the option in the summer and he'll walk away for free. If there isn't an option to sell him this January, and if Newcastle desperately think that it's worth keeping him till the end of the season just to make sure we've got some backup in the striker area, fine. And I hope he gets some goals. You know, I would love it if he could get loads of goals. You know, get 5 to 10 goals a season. Help Newcastle out. Isak needs the help. The guy is on his own. I mean, the Asula stuff again is, you know, over my head. Why have we bought him and we're not giving him 5 minutes of game time? You know, is beyond me. 30 seconds. He had 30 seconds in the cup, didn't he? and he hit the post, and he looked bright for the moment we gave him. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts on Callum Wilson down below. A little bit jumpy there, because obviously there's a lot going on with Newcastle right now. But in terms of Callum Wilson, the guy I think wants to stay. I think he wants to prove himself, and for the fans, that's what we want to see. You know, fair enough. You've been injured for a long time, and probably cost us a fair bit of money in wages. But I think he's a genuine guy, and I would love nothing more than to see him come into the side and start making a difference, start helping out Isak with the game time, start scoring some goals. Doing so will help boost his price for the January as well. So if we don't, I think I would be disappointed. Yeah, I think it's past it now for Wilson to get a new 1-year deal. I just don't think it's the right time for us. I think it's time to move on and try something different. Give young Asula a chance. So really, it's just more, how does he end his career at Newcastle? Does he end it leaving this January, or does he end it with a bang with some goals, or does he get injured and we don't see him again? But yeah, so you let me know your thoughts on Callum Wilson down in the comments below. Some big decisions for Newcastle to make over that guy. Look, honestly, I think if we're going to let him go for some money and bring somebody else in, that would be spot on. I think we need a winger. I think we need a centre-back. So I think there's work to be done. Let me know your thoughts on Wilson down below. Is striker a priority, or do you think right wing, or do you think centre-back? You can tell me. And as I say, it's nice to be back doing a video in the tune, despite the fact that it's cold. Lovely and quiet, yeah. Enjoyed it. Alright guys, and love talking about Newcastle as always. Thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. If you've enjoyed the background, be sure to drop a like. And stick around for more videos very soon. Palace at the weekend, you know, think it's in the away at Palace is never normally an easy one for us, so who knows, we'll see what we can do. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you later.